Growth therapy.
Oh my God. Do you have a drink?
I don't. I have water.
Oh, good for you. I mean, it is like 2:13 in the afternoon on a Wednesday, so I don't blame you.
Also, I'm afraid of becoming an alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
So I keep my substances to a minimum when I'm going through tough times.
That's true. I actually have not really been drinking. I'm just drinking because it's just for the show.
And I would drink wine, but it's not chilled. I didn't think about it, but I also, every time I've drank during quarantine, I have gotten a hangover. So
that's how you know you get it. Oh, girl. I feel like I kind of want to load a lot in this episode. With like Morgan and like why I'm on hiatus and all that stuff. So
okay,
I don't know. We'll just wing it.
Yeah,
I got some Fireball in me.
Yeah, let's do it, honey.
Let's do it. Yeah. I don't know. This is so weird. This is like the first time I'm doing this. Like,
I like it.
I'm staring at you. You're not here with me.
Yeah, this feels weird. I feel like I'm in my own virtual studio.
Right. You look cute, though.
Thank you.
You look great. Well, hi, guys. It's me, Stephanie Megan, your host of Growth Therapy. And guess the fuck what? I got Sixelaafiercee not in the house. She's in her house.
I like that.
Yeah. We're currently, look, I just took a shot of Fireball. We are currently in quarantine. And I'm actually on hiatus on the show, but I just decided to do this. And who better than to do it with than you?
The OG.
The OG. Okay, that's the thing. So a lot of like you TikTokers who found me on TikTok, Growth Therapy is a new show to you, but it's been around for about 4 years, and Sixelaafiercee has literally been here since the very fucking beginning.
I have. Don't get shit twisted, y'all.
Yes.
I am that bitch. I am the recurring guest on this show.
You that bitch.
Just because you don't see no videos of me yet don't mean nothing. I've been here.
I got hella videos. It's just like they're in the archives. They'll come out. They'll come out slowly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also a disclaimer, you guys, I'm in my new place and my windows are not soundproof, so you'll be hearing some busy noise, but that's okay. We just out here figuring it out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
it's an unprecedented time in many ways.
Yes. And I think this is also like an opening to a new era. And I felt like it was better to do it with you because this is the first episode I'm recording at my new place.
I know. No more dungeon. This is crazy.
No more dungeon. Like, I could breathe.
Yeah.
Like, I could open the windows.
You actually have you did have a window.
But there was no screen.
Opening it didn't really help anything aside from when it was hot.
Right. And then when I opened it, it was the floor because it was like the basement, you know? It would be like the floor when I would open it. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going to be crawling by. I'm terrified. So I always kept it closed. And now I have like some fresh air and some fresh sunlight. And it feels good. I feel like I'm like mentally, just in a better place. Because it's just the small things,
Yes.
Yes. And then also I want to give like a shout out to Lipstick and Vinyl. I'm now a part of the network, and it's a network of like all women who are just like storytellers and bad bitches. So I'm really excited about that. That's the first time I've been a part of like a network because I've been doing this independently it's going to be 4 years in September this year. So
that's insane.
Like, holy fuck.
That's insane.
Like, what is my life? Yeah.
Wow. I love this for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on this monumental new step.
I know. I mean, it's like such a tough time to like be in this. I don't think I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, I think that like Fireball's hitting me. I have not been drinking, so I've just been like not knowing how to handle my shit. Need another sip. Okay, so
stay hydrated, guys.
Because I've been in quarantine, bitch, I decided to get on TikTok.
Yes.
And TikTok is amazing because I really just posted my videos because I just was bored in quarantine in bed. And now it's really reached a wider audience. And a lot of that audience is now being like newly introduced to Growth Therapy. And I'm getting like hella questions like, like, why are you on a hiatus? Why can't I watch the full videos on YouTube? And the answer to like the why you can't watch the full videos is because unlike some other shows, this is like a one-man production team.
She doing it all herself, okay?
Yes. So a lot of the snippets that you guys see on TikTok were just like previews that we guys will listen to the episodes. But because I've been getting a lot of questions and requests, I am going to start editing and putting stuff out on YouTube. So please stay tuned for that.
Yes.
Yes. And then, okay, bitch. So here, let's get down to business. I had to get all of those like announcements. It was like school announcements where you have to get that shit out of the way.
Now we in class.
Now we in class, bitch. Let's talk about some things.
Yes.
So like, okay, so I posted up an episode with Jess and it was just like about quarantine and chill. I actually took it down because I don't know. And a lot of people were like, okay, this is cute, but we want to know what happened after the
get to the good shit.
Yeah, like the intervention episode, which literally like so many women have reached out and been like, I needed that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And girl.
Fill us in, sis. Fill us in.
Yeah. And the intervention episode, it was a 2-hour long episode. And we talked about my breakup with my boyfriend and how we got into a Twitter fight. And you and Jess literally, like, how would you describe it in your own words, Alex? Or Six? How would you describe it?
Honestly, I hadn't been that fired up about somebody and about something on Twitter since I was in high school because I've had Twitter that long. Mm-hmm. It was different. I was ready to fight.
You were. And
I was ready to fight.
I think
I was ready.
Yeah. I think that's why that like episode resonated with a lot of people is because like it was more than just like the breakup with me and Morgan. It was more about the friendships that were, you know, the bond and like how you guys were backing me up and had my back no matter what, but also told me like, yo, like you could have done this differently, you know?
Yeah, I think when I think back to that episode, I remember going into it with a certain emotion and leaving the episode completely different. Because I thought I was going to go in and be on Morgan's ass, but we were on your ass.
I know.
And making you take up ownership for the shit that you did that we necessarily didn't know about. So I thought it turned out differently than I expected, but I think that it was necessary. And I remember like you saying like you got comments like I need friends like them. And I think it was a multifaceted episode because it was about your relationship and about us like intervening on your behalf, but then it turned out being about our friendship and about how honesty and like being open with each other is like the best way. Because you know, I don't think me and Jess didn't expect to go in the way we went.
No,
yeah, but it was necessary.
It was, and I think that's why it was a 2-hour episode because we're like, we're not done here.
Yeah, like,
there's no limit to this conversation.
Over with. Yeah,
right. And I'll be honest, like after I did the episode, like I cried so much. I went to bed and I just cried.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, obviously with the whole breakup and, you know, like the fact that like he just, you know, I knew I fucked up. And it was also just kind of, I think what like resonated me the most was realizing my self-worth, you know, and what that meant. I mean, I think that you hear the word self-worth a lot when people are like, just know your self-worth. But like, I think at that moment, it really hit me like what that actually meant, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like it wasn't even just this relationship that made me kind of like analyze what that meant, but like just looking at the past and everything, you know? And I felt like I took a lot of time with myself to kind of to reassess like what that actually means.
What self-worth means?
Yeah. And like
I think it's a personal definition, so that's good that you took the time to think about it, what it means for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And like exactly. And not even just what it means, because at first it's like, you know, I get myself ready every day, I work out, I eat right, or I got a great job. It's like, it's not even about that. Like, I think one of the things that you said was about what you do with that when, you know, you have scenarios like men who mistreat you and how much, you know, you take them back or whatever. And like, you know, and then I guess, yeah, so I thought a lot about that. And I also thought about a lot of like how my actions affected somebody else's, because one of the things was like why we got into a huge, argument was because I decided to go see my ex for the sake of content. And he was like, yo, that's not cool. Like, you told me not to talk to any of my exes, and I do that for you. And here you are, like, like not following what you're preaching.
Yeah.
And so I kind of reflected on that, like, I think a lot of times, like, I've done episodes that have been like, oh my God, like, this dude did this to me, but like maybe not fully really thought about what I did to make that person do that, like how I could have been, how I could have been toxic,
Yo, that is
like,
a whole word.
We talk about other people's toxic traits. What are your fucking toxic traits?
No, seriously. I think that, like, honestly, that right there is, for me being your friend, it's a beautiful moment to hear you say that, because me, myself, I've had to come to, in my dating life, I've had to really look at myself and be like, okay, how do you play like a role in what happens to you? Because we can't always play victim, and not everybody is toxic. Sometimes what you deem toxic is somebody's reaction to your toxicity. So then, like, literally looking at that and like being honest with yourself about it, and like, I think that really ties well into self-worth. And I'm glad that you came across that.
Thank you. So it was, and that's why I cried, because it was also like at the same time when you have two of your like closest friends like telling you, like putting a mirror to your face and being like, bitch,
this shit ain't easy.
This shit ain't easy. Like, it's a lot to dissect. So naturally, like, I cried. I had to kind of like just, like, feel like every feeling and to rethink everything, I mean, I will say there are some things maybe I didn't fully agree on. And I think one of the biggest things I didn't agree on that was like said in the episode, and here's the thing, I don't blame you guys for thinking or saying it, it all came from a good place. But one of the biggest things that I just really disagreed on was the fact that like mine and Morgan's relationship was toxic, and that it should be like, relationship should be easy, should be patient, it should be kind. And those are factors that matter in a relationship, but sometimes like you do disagree and you do things that fuck up, and you have to realize like it's about how you're able to pull through versus, because it's like, it'd be different if like we were abusive, like if we were like hitting each other, or, verbally abusive, or, just doing really fucked up shit to one another. I just think that we just like acted on impulse and didn't think things through.
I think as far as, I think that there's just like, it's been normalized for relationships to have this sense of struggle in them. And I think that that's where we were, because I don't remember saying that, but I remember.
I think it was Jess. I don't know. I think it might have been Jess.
I do know that there is a lot of people associate, well, if I'm struggling with this person, then that means that there is bliss on the other side of that struggle. And I think that for us and for your situation, as I can remember it, it was more so like, you don't have to, like, things don't have to be tough all the time. Like, there needs to be, there's a balance. Obviously, relationships are not rainbows and peaches. That's not what it is. A relationship, especially when you're learning a new person, like, you're going to go through times where you guys don't disagree and stuff like that. But I think that when the negative outweighs the good, then it's something where you might have to be like, okay, maybe this is toxic, because if we can't have a simple disagreement and it's always turning into a fight, because there's a difference between a fight and a disagreement. Now, if you guys can't agree to disagree, then that might be something you want to look at. But if it's something where it's always negative, or like, because a lot of people, believe it or not, like I was having a conversation with a friend recently, she was saying how she is attracted to the pain. Like, she's addicted,
people who,
to the pain, because she grew up seeing pain and seeing that that's what love looked like. So I think it was Jess that said it. It might have came from a standpoint of like, struggle does not equal love, and love does not equal struggle. I think that's where she was coming from.
No, 100%. And I agree to that. But I remember my best friend, Nina, also told me, because I think sometimes I do kind of like fear, like, the pain or the heartbreak or, the end of things. My friend Nina stated, she's like, the thing about love is like, yeah, like love shouldn't be painful. And obviously, again, there's a spectrum of that. If it's abusive, it's toxic, obviously end it.
Yeah.
You know, but even healthy relationships go through some pain.
For sure.
And she said something that really like changed my life and resonated with me, but was that love will always end in pain, whether it's in a breakup, someone's cheating, someone even dies, you know? And it's like, we can't be scared of that. You just have to kind of embrace every moment that you have with this person. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, so no matter what, you know, like falling in love with someone and being in a relationship, like, yeah, whether this person dies or I die or, you know, the relationship ends, it's gonna end in pain, but the beauty is just, you know, is living through that, you know.
And the time that you shared, I recently have changed my view on relationships, period. Like, I used to think like, yeah, I want a forever partner. But if you think like, for me, if you have the perspective of I'm going to find one person that I'm going to live the rest of my life with, that ending pain is going to hurt more because you envisioned a life. You set the relationship on a pedestal. So and as we all know, life is about constant change. So there are going to be phases, and then there's also like the person that you met is not going to be the same person that you end with, and everyone comes into your life.
So scary. That's such a scary thought.
It is.
And the fact is, like, we can be that person too.
Yeah,
and we are going to be that person. It's like,
I know for me, I'm changing literally daily.
Right.
And so like, I think that we romanticize the idea of like people and relationships and have this fairy tale-ness to it. But if we started to look at it in a real way, I think that a relationship with a significant other, we look at it differently than a relationship with our mom, our dad, our friends. They're all the same type of relationship. The only thing that changes it is sex. And if you hold them to the same kind of standard, I think that our view on things ending, like, yes, if your parents die, you're going to be devastated. The same, and it would be the same way as if your significant other were to pass away. But like, we don't look at it that same way. So me, I've decided to look at relationships and people and experiences as like, everyone is in your life for a reason or a season. 100%. And
a reason for it or a season, girl.
Yeah. And if you look at it that way and you just maximize the time that you have them, the pain is going to be there, but then you realize, you know, that person served their purpose, or like try to figure out what that purpose that they served in your life, like what did you learn from them? Then it'll kind of ease that pain, and then you don't have to feel so tied, so like lifelong bound to everyone, because then you're going to be in a world of pain, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that's my new perspective on like love and relationships, like realizing that the people are on loan to you. Right. They're not, and I think we all have a dispossessive nature about relationships and about the people, our significant
others. It's like,
others.
well, you love me, so you have to be here forever.
And that's not true.
No.
It's not true.
Not at all.
And it sucks, but that's just reality.
Right. And I think it's just like coming to peace with that, you know?
Yeah. I've definitely started to come to peace with it. And especially because you don't know when it'll happen. So like you said, maximizing those times, like if you do get in a fight with someone that you love, then, you know, the next day, making sure you be like, you know what, we're going to watch that. Not going to bed mad with whoever your significant other is, just really not letting the negative outweigh the good and just making the most of the time that you guys have together.
Right. You know what's crazy?
What?
It's coming full circle, because when I first started the show and you came on in like one of the first episodes, we talked about friends with benefits.
Yeah.
And then like now we've like evolved to like talking about this.
Ooh, child. I think about who I was back then. Wow.
I think who I was back then too. And I was a dumbass.
Yeah.
But we all like, you know.
I was like a
savage.
A savage.
Bougie. Ratchet.
I was definitely a savage back then, but it was all a defense mechanism that I 100%. Didn't realize.
And yeah, I didn't realize that until honestly I started dating Morgan, because I felt like, you know, like we'd call ourselves like bougie hoe, you know, we get into situations like friends with benefits, or just like any just stupid situationships that don't matter, that are so surface level.
Yeah.
Because it was in order for us to protect ourselves, because we didn't want to come off as like I feel like there's like this trend for a while that was like, you don't want to come off as clingy, or that you don't want commitment.
Or you like, want to love someone.
Yeah, like what's wrong with wanting to love? Like, we are humans, okay?
I remember around that time when you started the podcast was it was a toxic time for the world. Like, it was cute for girls not to want to be in love, to want to play guys. And now I look at it and I'm like, nah, but it's sexy to be vulnerable. It's sexy to actually like someone and to like want to be around them and like actually want to like grow with someone. Like, that's a sexy thing. Like,
it is a sexy thing.
Out here just fucking and doing all that, like, that's actually worse for you. And
I think this quarantine is actually a great example of how important it is for human interaction, and how gross it is for us to even hold hands. You know what I mean? Like, to be out, like, it's just.
I love.
I'm just saying, because it's like you obviously have to be careful now. You know what I mean? Like, I've been very like anxious and having to like wash my hands every like 10 minutes. Like, and I have hand sanitizer on deck. I've just been like psycho. It's fine. Whatever. We don't have to get into that.
I was gonna say my viewpoint's a little different, but okay.
Yeah.
That'll be a whole rabbit hole.
But I think I don't want to get into it because I can get it. I'm like scared. I'm not scared to get it. I don't know. Now I'm like scared of germs. It's like weird. I've just become a little germophobic. But anyway. What were we saying? Okay, so post-intervention, everyone is like, what the fuck happened? And I'm pretty sure, for those who have been following me on Instagram for a while, has saw that eventually Morgan came back to my life again. And everyone was like confused, like, I don't understand.
I was a part of the confusion.
Yes,
I was like, to nobody.
Just a minute ago, you were crying and did a whole ass episode. You just preaching, saying like, I'm never getting back with him. And then here you are being like, I love you, you know.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that, and and then I think for a while, like, I obviously knew how stupid I would look. Like, I understood that. So I just kind of didn't feel like putting out anything, because I just wanted to live in it and understand, you know.
You wanted to enjoy that season.
Yeah, I wanted to. And I think this goes back to like, why are you on hiatus? It's because, well, one, it wasn't necessarily because of Morgan, it was because of work. And now I'm unemployed because temporarily unemployed, but I was working 2 jobs on top of having this show and on top of managing my social life and my relationship. So I love putting my heart and soul into this. And when I do an episode, I like pour everything in it, and it's amazing. It does feel good, but you know, I am not just a show. And I think that you also said this too in the episode. Like, I am not like Carrie Bradshaw could get off on set and she is Sarah Jessica Parker and she could do her own thing in private. You know, like, yes, I'm Stephanie Megan, but I'm also a fucking human being. And sometimes I need a break from just not putting everything out there. And I just wanted to relax. And, you know, so afterwards, anyway, going back to, I have like ADD, I think, so I like tend to go in like circles.
It's your time.
Yes. But going back to what happened post-intervention episode, we literally got back together the day after it was aired. It'd
be like that.
It'd be like that. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it's funny because it's like I ended up getting my period the next day. And you know when you like get your period, you're like, oh,
like this is
that's why I've been hella emotional. And I'm just like, damn, like now everyone just knows how crazy I am, you know.
I love that.
I was hella emotional. That obviously fed into you know why it was an emotional episode. But so we decided to get back together, and I don't know if any of you guys remember, but he did go on Twitter. He deleted all of his tweets that he was, you know, talking shit about me. And he apologized. And I think, you know, him listening to the episode, because as soon as I put it up, he listened to it right away, and he admit to his wrongdoing and took everything down. and apologized and literally said, you know, I was wrong. I'm publicly apologizing because I did this publicly. So, but I love you, you know?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And at first
I was like, shit, I unfollowed his ass. I was like, oh, fuck. I mean, but I still don't follow him because it's a little too close for fun. I don't ever want to get.
If you guys ever become like super cool and friends, you know.
I don't ever want to get into one of my friends' relationships like I did. I didn't like that.
Follow and unfollow, like every time we break up and make up.
Yeah, I just felt like it was just, I was a little too in it. I remember telling you, like, I felt it.
You really felt it. Like,
yeah.
Here's the thing about you is like, it's like you hurt someone that, if anyone hurt someone you love, you're just like, you hurt me. Like, I'm fucking pissed. Like, you pulled the shit on me.
I like cheat, kill, and steal for my bitches. Don't play with me. I'm trained to go.
For me, like, I'm the same way, but my tactic is I'm still going to be friends with you because I'm going to stalk you for the sake of my girlfriend.
You know what? A lot of my friends are like that, and I don't like it, but I get it. Okay. Yeah. I get it. Like, it's so funny. I've had my friends follow guys. And after I stopped dealing with them, bitch, stop following him. But they'll still do it or still be following that person. And I get it. It's just so you still have insight and you still have ammo. But for me, I'm out of sight, out of mind. Because if you're still in my face, I'm going to be irritated by you. So I think it's just, and you know me, I'm crazy. But anyway, finish your story.
But I mean, you had every reason. It's really well. I was trying to, back you up there. That's what you're like, I'll follow him and everything. But yeah, so he tweeted that, and I was like, at first I was like, I ain't gonna respond to that. Fuck that.
Yeah,
like, he better
being stubborn.
Shit. But I'm gonna stick to it because I'm gonna look dumb as hell if I go back to him. So but my heart was like, talk to him. Mm-hmm. So I did. We talked. And to be honest, I can't fully remember. It was a while ago. That was like back in December, and it's now like almost May, right? What time was it, like the 20th?
Yes, April 20-something.
Holy shit. Yeah, so it was like 4 months ago. Holy fuck. Yeah, so that was a while ago. But I remember the conversation. What it really came down to was we both owned up to our faults. And I think, and he admitted, and he was like, I'm actually really embarrassed. He's really embarrassed that he like went on Twitter and behaved the way that he did. And I was like, I don't want to ever go on Twitter because he's just like, I don't want to do that. But he was honestly truly, truly embarrassed. I remember, and I was like, yes, you better be embarrassed, motherfucker. And he, he was just like, what was he saying? Yeah, he was truly embarrassed. Oh my God, am I losing my train of thought? What's wrong with me? Oh my God. See, it was a while ago. But he did say that he acted the way that he did because as soon as he saw me like subtweeting him and saying that I was going to put up an episode, he, was telling me, like, I remember him saying exact words like, I felt so betrayed. The moment that I thought you were putting up an episode, I thought you were to go on there, bash me. He's like, I trusted you with my deepest, darkest secrets, my insecurities. And I just thought you were just going to go up there and just like roast me and make me like, an asshole and whatever. And he's like, I've trusted you with everything. And I just felt so betrayed by someone that I really loved, And that's why I reacted the way that I did. Cause I felt like, he felt like he wanted to hurt me in that sense and like make me look dumb. That's why he was saying stuff like, why are you guys going to trust advice from a hoe? I don't know. He was just saying all this shit. Cause he was just trying to like find ways to like bring me down. But I was like, no, at the end of the day, it just made him look dumb as hell. And he realized that, because like that wasn't my point of doing the episode. If you guys heard the episode, like if I look bad, and like
because the episode did not come out how we thought it was.
No, it was not. It was not bashing Morgan. It was bashing me.
Yeah,
but,
in the most loving way possible.
Yeah, in the most loving way possible. But the thing is like my intentions were to never go on this show and to be like, fuck him, he's a fucking asshole. Like maybe I might say those things out of anger, but in actuality,
not to publicize it. That's not you.
Right, exactly. Like when I do this show and I come on being like, this is what happened and this is how I feel from it. And it really comes a lot from like feelings and oh my God. But like, but also at the end of the day, I owned up to my shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't on there being like, he's a complete asshole. I didn't do anything. I went on there. It was like, I fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
and I did this and I'm sorry. And I know that I'm not perfect. I never come on here trying to make it like that I'm perfect and I got it all together. Cause I don't. That doesn't like girl therapy. Like I ain't come on here acting like I already got therapy. Like no, I need it. So I'm gonna own up to my shit. And so he immediately felt bad about it. And of course I apologized for the way, to not think. And that's the thing is like, and you and I could both like relate in this way. Like I've been single for so long.
Girl.
Point like when you're single and you're independent as much as like me and Alexis are, I'm gonna speak on my behalf because I'm not gonna speak on behalf of you, but like, but for me, like for how single I was for 10 years and having to take care of myself and look out for myself, think for myself, like survival mode, you know what I mean? And I haven't been able to like share my feelings and share life with somebody, as a partner. Like, and when you're in love with someone and when you're in a relationship, it's like, I mean, as simple as it sounds, like, you're supposed to be compassionate towards one another. You're supposed to, like...
It's harder than it sounds.
Right. Like, you report to one another and make sure, like, you good, I'm good, we good, and, like, don't hurt each other's feelings and shit. Like, and I was so used to being like, I started the show and I'm like, ooh, that's good content. I'm going to do it. And, like, not thinking, like...
How your content could hurt your significant other.
Yeah, and that was the moment that I was like, holy shit, this is just like and that's why I need to also take a step back, from the show, because I was like, holy shit, I've been doing this in a really single way, and I've never done this in a relationship. Like, I don't know how to manage this.
Yeah, your content was about your life as a single woman.
Right.
Now you have to pivot and make your content
right
about,
and and it just naturally was that, because that was just my life. Like I never, like I haven't been in a relationship in a really long time, and I was dating like everyone in Los Angeles. And so it was like this moment I was like, whoa, I'm in love. Like I found love. Now what? But it's like, but the thing is like what I've realized is like, just because I found love doesn't mean I'm fixed. And I'm like, what is the show about? Do I just want to constantly just talk about being a hoe on here? Is that what's important? And I had to like really dissect that. And I'm like, no, that's actually not important.
Yeah.
And like, and I mean, I'm happy that I've talked about it and lived.
That's just not your stage in life anymore. That's what it is.
Not who I am.
Because that is important. It was important for the time, but
right
now the time is different. So it's kind of like, okay, what content are we talking about now? Like what now talking about how you're navigating through your relationship. Like,
and I'm like, do people like, am I boring now because I love someone and all I want to do is just fucking like talk to him right now, like, am I boring? Like, because I don't want to go out and get drunk with random strangers anymore. Like, I kind of had to just, like, find my new identity almost, and I think it really came down to, like, I think the intervention episode really helped with that, because I realized that people were more drawn to the friendships I had than the dating relationships that I had, like, what people loved about that episode was, like, I think Morgan was just a character, but it was more about like the fact that my girls were there for me. And only was, and I felt like not only was I the person that needed to hear it, a lot of women need to hear that, because they don't always have, not a lot of people have friends like that, and that's what was important.
Yeah.
So I felt like that, I finally came to that point. I was like, oh, okay, it's not just me being a hoe. I can't just talk about being a hoe all the time.
You're
and I still can, because you know what? A girl likes sex, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't want to fuck everyone,
Now it's like, be a host for your man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we got to that point. We still have we're not done with this story, you guys. We're not done.
No.
I mean, you already know, but
yeah. Y'all, I get the inside scoop, okay?
Yeah, like day by day inside Scoop. But so okay, so I'm taking that moment. We're back together, and at first it wasn't like, oh, we're back together, be my man, be my girl. It was just kind of like we were good, like we just got over it. We realized that like we forgave each other, and we weren't mad at each other anymore. So we just wanted to, we didn't put a label on it, but we just obviously continue to stay in contact because we are in a long distance relationship too. So we just continued our relationship, and it just kept growing and growing. And I don't want to disclose everything about his personal life, but he is going through a lot right now. And I think because of that also was another reason why I wanted to kind of stay quiet about our relationship, because he's also a really private person. So I really wanted to respect that. And so he's going through a lot. And because of that, we've really gotten closer and realized even more how much we love each other, and we even thought about like getting married, having kids.
Oh, wow.
Moving in together.
Life partners.
Yes. Like we really like saw everything together, and I was ready for it. And honestly, for the first time, I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about any other motherfucker. Like, and here's the thing, the ex that hit me up to like talk and catch up, he actually reached out again. And I didn't respond. I ghosted him, and I actually unfollowed him because I was like, I am not, because I felt like it was like God testing me again, be like, are you actually ready, or do you actually want to go and do this?
And he will test you, okay?
Yes. And I felt like that's what was happening, and it was like, it was easy. It was easy for me to be like, I don't want to respond to that. I don't want to. Once
you finally get over, that's how you know. I've been in that situation where I've been tested, and people have come back, and you're like, oh, they coming back because I got the juice. No, baby, they coming back because it's a test.
Right.
They're coming back because God's trying to see if you are really ready to move to the next point that you're saying that you want. Right. Now, if you want it, you're gonna be like, Now, if you entertain an ass, you wasn't ready.
Exactly.
I done been through many tests.
I've been through a lot, and you know what? I failed a lot.
Same.
I failed a lot. But I felt good because I felt like it was not only just passing this test, it was like a lot of tests that I've just overcame in the course of my 20s, because it's like me a year ago, me 2 years, like I would 100% would have been like met up and maybe not even said anything. I don't know, but it was like, for me, it was like, you know what? No, I like, this is not worth it, like at all. So I unfollowed him, never responded, and it's on Instagram, so you can see that I read it. So he's left on red.
Yeah.
And I have no regrets about that. And we'd really just gone closer. And then it just hit a point actually where he the thing that he's going through got even more intense, and that really, and also just being in the quarantine and being in like a long distance relationship is like, am I gonna cry? Oh my God. It's just like, it's hard, Okay, give me a minute. Let me just drink this beer.
Yeah, go ahead, girl. Take a sip.
I cry like, so like, I hate when I tell a story and I cry. It's just, like, let me get
honestly, I commend you for crying because I don't cry enough. So
I cry so much. And that's the thing. I've been crying every night. I know. But it's like, I'm okay. I do it because like, it's just, it's a natural thing for me. So I just let myself. I just don't like when I'm like telling the story and I don't.
No, I think that shows, especially because you're putting yourself on a main stage. It shows that you're like human.
Right.
That you're not telling, because if emotion didn't come through the story, people probably wouldn't believe it. Now, y'all, these is real tears. They are not manufactured, okay? You don't even want to be shedding them right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, come on, let's get through the story.
Yeah.
And I think, what he's going through on top of the quarantine is like it definitely has put like a lot of like questions of like if this is something that could really last, And like, because I was also begging him for a little bit more in a sense of like, you know, like I remember we got in a fight about something and he was like, you know what, like, I just think that like, if you're not going to get over it now, it's just not going to work. And I was like, I was pissed that he was going to like he just, because of an argument, he was just like, it's done. I was like, why the fuck are you going to do that? Like, you keep trying. Yeah. You know, like for a relationship, like you put in the work because it's worth it. Like clearly I'm willing to put in my heart and soul to make this work. And I haven't seen this motherfucker since fucking November. Okay. And it's like 5 months.
That's crazy.
I haven't seen him. And, you know, I'm putting in everything that I can. And like, it sucks because I feel like for him, it's not worth it. And what it really came down to is because everything that he's going through at the moment, like he's unable to like put in the energy, you know, towards it. So to him, it's like instead of just keep going and letting shit blow up in flames, just ending it now, you know?
Putting it on pause.
But I don't want to even say put it on pause, because putting on pause means it's like, it will make me feel like I have to wait. You know? And like, I don't want to wait. And at first I was like, okay, I'll just wait. But in reality, it's like, we don't know when his situation, you know,
there's no time. Yeah, there's no time frame. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And so it'd be different if like, and it's also like this quarantine, we don't fucking know when this is going to be over.
Man.
And, yeah. And so, like, I mean, we're still on good terms. I still tell him like I love him and stuff, but it was just like, I had to like, you know, that like saying, it's like, if you love something, let it go.
Yeah.
If it comes back, then that's how you know. Marcus.
Yeah. Circles.
Yes.
Hilarious.
That's exactly how it is. It's just kind of like, okay, I really love this, but I'm gonna let him just do what he needs to do. Because what he is doing is like a really great thing right now. It's just really hard and really unfortunate, you know? So I just have to support him and let him do that, because I also don't want to be the person that adds pressure, because, and, you know, and I have to think for myself too, and not just think for others, which I tend to do, but think for myself is like, Steph, like, you also like, shit, to be honest, like, I'm fucking 29 years old, okay? I'm turning 30.
Bitch, you're 29?
I'm 29, ew!
OMG, when did that happen?
In January, you were trying my birthday. No, you didn't go to, it's okay. But like, I didn't
know 29. I didn't know 29. I thought 28. Oh my gosh.
Girl, I'm 29.
Sis,
I've been wasting my goddamn time all of my 20s.
No.
But I don't mean that in a bad way, because I'm glad I lived through everything that I lived.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is now, and Morgan is not a waste of time. You waiting would not be a waste of time. But it hurts when like I text him and I don't hear anything back in like 2 days. Yeah. You know, like that does something to me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, I am being selfless in a sense of just giving him space and being there whenever he needs me. But I also have to think for myself. And like, and I'm not necessarily ready to get married like next year, because I could wait on marriage. But I'm ready for something like fucking real, you know? And this was real, but I need something. I need security. I need stability. I need growth. I need a future. Like, I'm not here. Like, I look back to me like fucking with Charles and fucking with Davion, and I'm like, why the fuck? Like, I wouldn't, like, granted I need to go through it, but now I don't want to go through shit like that.
Yeah. You want something that, like, you want something that feels like it can last, and that's equal, you know?
Right.
And right now, I think that this is such a beautiful thing, because the fact that both of you guys are able to come to an agreement like, hey, I can't give you, and kudos to Morgan, because for him to be able to tell you, like, I can't give you what you need right now, so we might have to let this go because of my situation. Because a lot of guys, girl, all through the 20s, you know, dudes knew that they couldn't give you what you wanted, but they would string you along.
Yes.
So, like, this is a beautiful situation because you have someone who loves you enough to let you go and to not tell you, even him knowing that there's no time limit on it, to not tell you to wait for him, but to tell you, like, you know, if we let it go, if things come back, you know, if things can be fixed, or if things can come to a place where then I can give you the attention that you need.
Right.
You know, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I think that's such a healthy thing, and like I said, kudos to Morgan, because there's not too many men that are, how old is he?
27.
Hell no, there ain't too many men his age that's gonna say that. That's gonna let you go, and because guys love this sick thing of keeping people attached, and the fact that
a lot of them are insecure.
That's love right there. That's love, and I'm glad that you've gotten to experience that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really glad you got to experience that, because that's different, you know.
I'm glad I got to experience it too, because I feel like it changed my life. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I'm getting this much now. I feel like it did change my life. Let me get some. I need a cigarette. Hold on. Okay, I feel like it changed my life because prior to him, I felt like I was dating robotically. You know? I got to a point where I dehumanized men. Like, I just felt like, oh, they don't have feelings, or they don't, you know, there's no, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, they're assholes, you know? And like, I forgot what it felt like to have a connection. And I felt like, God. Whew. I felt like being with him really, like, reminded me what it means to, like, feel loved.
And mind you, I want you guys to know the biggest, most important thing about this relationship: they have not had sex.
No, we have not had sex.
That is so important to this story, because literally there are people who get wrapped up. Like, I've had lust filled relationships that literally were built on. So this is something different, especially coming from your hoe phase, coming from being celibate, and coming from different things that you tried to do, like you tried to switch up the course so many different times.
I did, yeah.
And this was so unconventional. This was so, like, who would have thought that I'd fall in love with this guy that I met in front of the virgin at the club, eating a hot dog, like, who would have thought? And then also to be like, you guys didn't even, to have such a strong connection and no sex was involved. I mean, y'all did a little some, but
like before he moved, like, he was like, we were pretty much together and, like, sleeping together, like, in the same bed. Like, he was over for like a month straight, like, like every single day, you know, and like sleeping in the same bed together and nothing. Like, it was just like,
because there was actual like love there. So that, I think that this situation just makes me so happy, because it's like, me personally, I know that there's love like that out there, and to witness it. I always tell Savannah this, that like, I remember telling her, like, girl, there are dudes that will give you the world. Like, don't let these fuckboys tell you different. Like, do not. And legit, I kid you not, she met someone who is now her best friend, and they're not together, but what I was preaching to her, God showed it to her in human form. And, like, he's an amazing person. I know him very well. He's a good friend of mine. And, like, there are people who you literally don't have to number one, since young kids are listening to your show, you do not have to give away your body for somebody to love you. You don't. They need to be in love with your heart, your personality, right, who you are. If you want to have sex with somebody, that's cool, but you really don't have to. You're the perfect example of you don't have to do what society deems correct for you to fall in love with someone.
Right, exactly. And it's crazy because I felt like Morgan was like the perfect person at the perfect time to fall in love with, because to be honest, like he even admits to himself, like you meet him, you see him, you think like this motherfucker's a fuckboy, like he's gonna, he's gonna hurt Steph. What the fuck you doing, you know?
Girl, I knew it. He's a rapper, like,
right, like he raps. He's, you know,
I was like, this ain't gonna be shit. To be honest,
I met him at the club, like,
yeah.
You know? Just, and you know, but he's actually like, and it's also like he has so many things that are so similar to a lot of guys that I've dated in the past that were fuckboys, you know. And then, but being with him was like, I got to see beyond the surface level. Like I've learned to like get to know someone beyond that, you know, and not just like the whole rapper facade, you know, like straight face, no smiling in photos type shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, this motherfucker is smiley as hell. Like, he stays smiling. He has like the biggest smile, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like he has a beautiful big ass smile that he's like, I hate it. I'm like, no, it's cute, because it's like so sweet and childlike, you know. But it's true, and I'm just like, because it's not like I like see beyond what, you know, is portrayed of him, and it reminded me of just like, even in the past, when I've dealt with, you know, the fuck boys in the past, it's like they're also human, you know. And granted, I wasn't meant to be with them at all, but like it helped me again, like going back to how I dehumanize men, it helped me humanize them again, you know. Like fuck boys are people too. And I'm not giving them any excuse, don't get me wrong, but it's just something to keep in mind, you know. And
there are fuckboys who will not be a fuckboy for that one girl.
Exactly, because you know what?
You are that girl.
Stories, and he was a fuckboy.
Yeah.
And there's moments where I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that, you know. And then there's stories about me too that he was just like, what? Why would you let him treat you like that, you know? But it's just like, but because we got to know each other beyond what people see, you know, and that's who we fell in love with. And woo! So, you know, if it's amazing. And hopefully, I mean, we're not, so technically I am single, and we're not together. And at first I was like, I'll wait for him, but I think right now I'm trying to just get at peace with the fact that like we can't be together, whether it's right now or forever. Like I have to be at peace with the fact that like we're not together, you know?
Yeah.
And if we are meant to be together, we'll be back together, you know? And I feel like the old me would have like rebounded and been like, well, fuck that, I'm gonna find someone else, you know, get me some attention, let me start dating again. And eventually I do want to date again. I'm just not ready. I think I want to get to a point, because here's the thing, I'm not going to do a rebound, because again, that's going back to the old cycle of just going through shit that doesn't matter with people that don't fucking matter. I ain't trying to waste my time. I'm not wasting my, like, I've done all that I've done, and now I'm ready to
don't do it.
No,
because I myself have backslid, as I like to call it.
We've all done it.
Do this whole growth thing, and then you go back and you realize it wasn't worth it, and then now you have to go through the process again. So if you are currently noticing that like you might be going, like feeling like you want to go back to your old self, you became your new self for a reason. Don't go back. Ain't nothing back there.
There's nothing in me to even want to. At all. Right now I have no interest in dating right now.
Dating is not cute right now.
No. It's not.
I'm sorry. It's I
mean, for perfect time to just not date, you know?
Yeah, like you don't have to.
Right. Like I have so many other things that I can do. And it's not, and you know, and honestly, because I am really trying to find the right person right now, I want to get to a place where I'm at peace with me and Morgan, you know, and because it'd only be fair for the next dude that I date.
Yeah.
If I do date somebody else.
Because if you're not at peace with him, you're going to go searching for him and other men.
Right. And I don't want that. Like, I want to be able to find the right person for me and have an open mind and to have a clear mind, you know. And I just, I just think right now I'm definitely just going to take a lot of time for myself. And I mean, I have no choice either way. We all don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I will date again when it's ready, whenever that is. And I feel like this episode is like closing an era, but now being like, to be continued.
Yeah, because we don't know. I mean, content's changing for you.
Yeah. And yeah, like I might have the single girl content again, but it's not going to be the same way. Like I feel like before when I dated, it was like, yeah, someone to get drunk with, someone to have sex with, someone to have fun with, maybe just figure it out, like ha 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 ha. Now it's like, yo, I mean motherfucking business, all right?
And let me tell y'all, that kind of dating is hard.
It is hard because you know what? Like I'm not gonna find the right one right away. I'm gonna go through a lot more tests to be like, okay, are you actually ready?
What?
Or can you handle these fuckboys? You know,
and you know, from my experience, because that's what I'm doing currently, is because I know that I want a relationship. So you'll start putting guys to the test in the beginning, and at first it'll hurt because you'll be like, damn, they didn't really fuck with me like that. But then you'll be happy that you didn't. Then is when I would say it's wasting time. I think when you get into a situation with someone that you just charge that L to the game, and then that just levels you up. You go into new experiences with experience versus from scratch. But like, there's been so many times where like, for me, I know my standards, you know, and where I fuck up, and this goes back to the beginning of the episode of you not looking at how you played a part in the situation. Where I fucked up is not holding that person to my standard, or even letting them in on my standard. So then, because you can like be like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna make him. For me, you better take me out. If you think you're gonna fuck me, you need to at least feed me. You know, like you need one or the other. I mean, well, no, you need to do that before. That's a prerequisite. Now, if I don't make someone do that, it won't affect them now, but down the line, I'm gonna feel away because then they're gonna get stuck into this routine of thinking that I'm just some chill girl and I'm not. And then I can't be mad at him because I didn't set the standard. Now, you know, like now you're gonna be setting the standard more. So like, I want a relationship. Where's this gonna go? Exactly. And if you don't have those conversations, then you kind of have to bow out gracefully because you didn't have that with him in the beginning. Right. And you can't really be mad at him. Now you could learn if he a fuck nigga from the first date.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to your self-worth too, because I'm looking at myself as like, okay, now I am worthy of a relationship. I know how much value I could bring to someone's life. I know how valuable I am. And it's like, I'm not going to just be looking at like the surface level shit. Like, oh, is he a musician? Like, does he dress nice? Like, obviously I have to be attracted to him. Yeah. You know, but I'm going to try to think of like, do you got anger issues?
The shit gets
you listen, you know, honey, are you insecure? You know,
for me, I just realized because I had a quarantine. Do you eat vegetables? What is your water intake like? Right. Like, those shits are important. Yourself. Right. Like if you over here talking about
you hang your towel after you shower. You know, like, I know that doesn't really matter, but at the same time, it's just kind of like it's the little things that add up to like, does he care? You know? Yeah. Because it's like I want to build a home with someone. I want to build a life with someone, and I want to feel like you are on that same page. You care about your day-to-day life, like putting your towel away, or, you know, just stuff like that. Like, that's actually I'm not smart. Perfect. I'm still messy, you know? We're all trying to get it together. I'm not looking for a perfect person, but like, do you listen?
What is your relationship like with your parents? Because that is a dear reflection to how you are going to date me. Like, you know, like asking those I wouldn't even call them uncomfortable questions, because the necessary questions that you're not used to asking, because those are, if you're, especially at the age you are now, you're looking for someone who right. this could be something bigger with. So if you're at the end tail of your 20s, you're asking questions like, okay, I'm trying to build a life here.
Right.
So
I'm not here just to like,
we're not trying to play. Yeah. And the requirements to be in bed with me is different.
Right.
You cannot just be fine and sling good dick, honey. You gonna have to bring something more.
Right. Are you even smart? Like, you know what I mean?
That,
like,
can you hold a conversation?
How would you be like if I bring you to my family? Would you be a gentleman?
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
How
would you be like as a father? Like, are you into hitting your kids? Are you not into hitting your kids? Like, stuff like that. Like, you got.
No, that's
I'm
serious.
at that age where I got to think about that. Like, how do you want to raise your kids? Because eventually, the person I want to be with is. We gonna have kids together, so how do you want to raise your kids? Because I want to raise my kids a certain way, you know. So it's like conversations like that like matter so much more to me now than being like, oh, like you're a musician, like how cute! Can I hear?
Yeah, it's beyond the career. It's beyond the what do you do for fun. It's beyond the service level questions. Yeah, like I'll learn that by being with you. But like the stuff that matters, like I think that the how you raise your kids is so good. I had a guy that I was talking to once, and he was Muslim. Was he Muslim? Muslim, and I'm Christian. Right. And so I asked him, like, okay, because he was talking about he wants to marry me. So I'm like, okay, if we have kids, like, what does that look like? Because at that time, I'm still, me and the Lord are everything, but I was still like hardcore Christian. And he was like, I mean, I would leave it up to the kids, you know. And
is that how you want to do it?
No, I want them to be raised the way that I'm raised. We pray at night and we pray, you know, like the way that I do things is how I want my kids to be raised.
And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just people have their own expectations.
But like asking that question was important because that shows if that man is open-minded or not. Now, he's hella open-minded because most Muslims are like, nah, my kid's going to be Muslim. Baby, I don't practice that. So what would we look like for our kids to be practicing that?
Exactly. It's those types of conversations, or even like the convection of like, well, how were you raised?
Yeah.
You know? Like
literally, how were you raised?
What was your relationship with your, like, not even just a relationship with your parents, how are your parents' relationships? Mm-hmm. You know, like just really dissecting like where they came from and who they are and how they were raised and how they want to raise their kids and what they see themselves doing. And like,
I think,
and not even just by words, but seeing the action. Like, is their everyday life actually something that's going to move towards something that they want? You know, like you got to look at those things. Because like, yeah, maybe I might meet someone that's like, I want to own a business, like, but he's not doing shit. What
are you doing towards that?
Right. Like that's what, you don't have to be there right now, but like, are you actually doing things every single day to get to that point?
Exactly.
Like, it's just those things to see, you know, how a man moves and if that works for my life. And like, I see myself in like, you know, and I have already like visualized what I want for my life. So I just have to find someone to match that. And
that's important too for women out there. Like getting clarity on what it is you want in your life, because if you're going at it haphazardly, you're going to be swayed any which way, and that's not good. Like you have to know what you like, what you don't like. Like you have to have your non-negotiables. You have to have all that stuff, because if you don't, you're just going to end up hurting you, and then you can't fault that other person because you never knew what you wanted or said what you wanted. Right. So you have to know those things.
And quite honestly, the reason why I know all those things is because I made 1,000 mistakes. Mm-hmm. So just realizing that like you may not have it all together and understand. And like, I think if you're being real with yourself, like, I don't know what the fuck I want. And maybe, you know what? You need to go through that whole phase. I need to go through that whole phase.
Whole phases are so important. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we've gotten a whole ass episode. Yeah. but you know, and like, I'm not saying that everyone has to go through that. I think a lot of people should, but maybe there's some people who don't need to go through that. They need to go through something else. You know what I mean? In order to learn something. Like, to each their own. Just be open to just like falling on your fucking face and crying. And
I think if you are currently if you're listening and you're going through a whole phase right now, don't let anyone shame you, because if you're going through it, it's for good reason. I am so glad. We're both glad that we went through ours.
You'll get to a point where like, I am tired.
Yeah, like where this don't even feel right no more.
Right, like it's not worth it.
It's not. It's beyond the sex now, and going. Those are like that's the ROI of your whole phase.
Right.
Coming to the point where you're like, oh damn, like I don't actually like this.
Right.
I actually do want him to stay.
Yeah.
and not just fucking leave.
You know what? Like, don't ever. And that's the thing is, like, I felt always like embarrassed to like say like, I like you, you know, and like making it seem like.
I remember that. I remember you being like,
so
you used to feel like so.
Like I had to be like, no, I'm a hoe, and I feel like a lot of my huge, like when I'd be like, oh, I'm a hoe, was the fact that because, again, defense mechanism to be like, I'm not crazy. I don't need a attachment, but it's like, baby girl, you a sensitive ass bitch, and that's fine, you know. And again, I had to go through that in order to accept it and be like, okay, I feel like you get to a point you're like, I don't feel like lying to myself anymore. This is, you know.
Or you get to a point where you're like, okay, my patterns aren't actually making any sense.
Right.
Maybe it's time for me to if I don't be real with anyone else, I'm gonna be real with myself. Like
exactly. And it's like, and it happens in so many parts of your life too. I remember at one point I thought maybe I was like a stoner. I was like, maybe I could just smoke weed all the time. Because all my friends liked it, you know? So I was like, I'll just keep smoking weed. And I would get high as fuck, taking bong rips, and I'm just fucked up. And I'm like, one day I was like, I actually don't like this because every single time I'm just miserable, you know? I do like my edibles here and there, but overall, like, I'm not into being a stoner. I'm
the same way. I went through the whole trying to be a stoner phase, and then it was just like, bitch, you're just getting fat, so stop. I would smoke weed, get the munchies, and fucking eat myself into oblivion. No. Right. No.
And for me, I just, obviously, I would eat fucking everything, but I was just like, I don't like the way this makes me feel, you know? So it's like with every aspect in our lives, dating, drugs, or friendships, whatever, you get to a point you're like, not for me. Not for me. And that's okay. That's just growing pains.
Exactly.
So, and I still got some more, so we'll figure out I feel like I know more of what I want and what I don't want, but there's still so much more that I feel like I could learn if I like or not, what works for me or what doesn't, you know, because maybe I haven't gone through it yet.
I think that's the beauty of, like, if you listen to the show from when it first started to now, like, you've literally, like, that's what your 20s are about, figuring yourself out. And I feel like you've definitely figured yourself out. You're coming into this person who's like someone you're actually proud of, because I remember you used to be like, why am I so emotional? And why am I this? And why am I that? And now you're like, I'm emotional. I'm gonna fucking cry. Yeah. I'm gonna be in my feelings about it, and that's just what it is. And I think coming to terms with who you are as a person, like me, I'm strong, and sometimes I don't like the fact that I'm strong. Sometimes I want to cry, and I used to be like, no, I'm a boss bitch because I don't cry. No, you're a weak bitch because you don't cry, and that's and that's okay. Like, that's okay for me to like be overly strong, but like learning who you are and like how, I think that's what our 20s are all about, and like just embracing it and stop allowing like yourself to compare you to your friends or to what they're going through, because we're all, yes, you can get advice from your friends, but we're all going through different things, right? We're all, and
also be careful who you take advice from, because I've had friends in the past who'll be like, you should be doing this, and I'm like, in my head I'm like, I don't think I want to listen to you. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, and trust that gut. Trust your gut. Yeah. Trust your gut. If you don't want to listen to a certain person, it's for a good reason. Don't listen to them.
Right. If you don't really like the way that they're handling their life.
That is the tea, honey.
Just know. Because here's the thing. It's like, therapy's too expensive. And I'm getting advice from all these people. But, when you in your life take advice from someone, keep in mind who you're getting advice from. And, maybe it depends on what type of advice you ask them. It might be valuable advice. But overall, just look at who you're getting advice from.
My rule of thumb is always, you can listen to everyone, but only take with you what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, and you'll know what sticks with you. Whatever sticks with you is what was for you. Don't take it. The whole enchilada ain't for you. Take that little part, the crispy edge, that was yours. Okay, go get that. I'm a mess. I'm hungry.
Crispy egg. I haven't eaten anything too except hot Cheetos.
Shit, that was funny.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, let's see how long. Hopefully, okay. So another thing, you guys, a lot of you guys have really been begging for, like, I think I talked about this early in the episode. I don't know. I'm kind of buzzed, but about having videos and episodes on YouTube. Because this is my first time ever doing like a Zoom episode, I'm praying to God that everything that we did worked and we could put the video up on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, just know that it didn't work. But go ahead and check that out, Broke Therapy on YouTube, to see if it does. But yeah, anyways, plug yourself, bitch. Any last words before you go?
I think I love what I just said. I'm going to repeat it. Take the advice that resonates with you. Not everything that you listen to is for you, but what sticks, that's for you.
Exactly.
That's my final word.
And where can they lurk you and shit?
Y'all can lurk me. I'm Sixelaafiercee on everything. Sixelaafiercee.com. At Sixelaafiercee on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook. I don't really be on Facebook, but there you go. Yeah, y'all can.
You just plugged your Facebook.
I did. Y'all can lurk me.
On Facebook. I don't post shit there.
I mean, sometimes you'll see my Instagram post, but, okay. You know, if you're into that kind of thing, you know, but yeah, that's me, Sixelaafiercee, Sixelaa, fierce with the extra E at the end.
Yes. And then follow me, Stephanie Megan, or go to brokegirltherapy.com. And please don't forget to subscribe and give me 5 stars. I probably should have said at the beginning, but it's fine. Please do it.
Yeah, give her a review. Since y'all like to be all up in the TikTok comments, go on to Apple and give her a review.
Say what you want to exactly.
Say something right there where it really matters.
Yes. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
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 Broke Girl Therapy.